Hello friends, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope your friends are doing well. I really do hope that, and welcome back to, of course, Chelsea News, the daily series here on Football Therapy, where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, but more importantly asking for yours. It's every day, ladies and gentlemen. It's every single ruddy day. We're going to talk about reports coming out this morning regarding Roman Abramovich brokering peace over in Ukraine. I'm going to reference an article from the Metro. In a time where Roman Abramovich has stepped down in terms of running Chelsea, in fact, the trustees are yet to accept the role of taking on the role of stewarding Chelsea Football Club, and they're having a meeting, you know, the trustees being Emma Hayes and Bruce Buck and people. They haven't actually accepted that yet, so we'll talk about that as well, and I want to talk about some football stuff. Chelsea's front three, have we finally found it? And where does that leave Hakim Ziyech? And where does that leave Chelsea moving forwards? Please do drop a like. It takes a second and it means a lot and helps out the channel. So thank you for liking the video. And you are all, of course, welcome to subscribe. So we'll talk about Roman first and then we'll get on to the footballing side of things. Off the bat, we all have read that statement. I reacted to it. I did a video. Roman Abramovich is stepping down seemingly temporarily from running Chelsea Football Club and giving it the stewardship to the trustees. A lot of things would remain the same, as in like Marina Granovskaya will still run day-to-day things as well as transfer negotiations. Petr Cech still has a big role seemingly in the club, and of course, you know, coaching and the coaches will remain the same. We can speculate that statement came out to distance Roman from his public opinions of the conflict in Ukraine, maybe to protect himself from, the dictator who the previous Russian oligarchs, rich men who spoke out against him, are now all dead, the three of them. So you can understand that, but perhaps negotiating peace in Ukraine would put the Chelsea owner at risk. But anyway, he stepped down publicly, possibly temporarily, and then a statement came out condemning the war from Chelsea. So I don't know if that was strategic to separate him. But today, there is news that Roman Abramovich has gone to the Ukraine, to broker peace. I'm going to read you an article here from the Metro and react to that by a guy called Chris Davey, published today, but an hour ago. Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich trying to broker peace deal with Russia and Ukraine. Roman Abramovich is trying to broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, according to a spokesperson for the Chelsea owner. I mean, off the bat, Roman is a man of great influence, and you think, wow, this is a great thing. But, you know, you'd have to think this is, I don't know, no one wants war. No one. We know the Abramoviches don't, because his daughter's, you know, opposing in social media posts. So if he has influence that he can use to do good here, ultimately that's a great thing. But of course, there'll always be a cynical side of you thinking that this is gonna, I don't know, yeah, if you can stop war, you stop war. But if you can look good doing it, then, you know, possibly that too. The Russian-born billionaire has faced calls to speak out against Vladimir Putin's decision to invade Ukraine after announcing that he is giving up the stewardship and care of Chelsea over the weekend. Of course, the aforementioned thing we've discussed at the top of this video. Last week, Labour MP Chris Bryant also called out for the UK government to seize the 55-year-old's assets, including Chelsea, which he's owned since 2003, as part of its sanctions against Russia. Of course, the UK have done a bunch of sort of economical sanctions against Russia since the invasion. But it has now emerged that Abramovich is attempting to orchestrate a peace deal after Ukraine reached out to him via his Jewish contracts within the country. For the latest I was just reading an ad there. I can confirm that Roman Abramovich was contacted by the Ukrainian side for support in achieving a peaceful resolution, and that he has been trying to help ever since. Abramovich's spokesperson told the PA news agency, considering what is at stake, we would ask for your understanding as to why we have not commented on neither the situation as such, nor his involvement. Kind of makes sense. It's pretty heavy, you know, you can't be sprouting stuff into the media. Ukrainian film producer Alexander Rodnyansky, excuse my pronunciation there, has revealed that Abramovich, quote, has been trying to mobilize support, end quote, for peace talks, and believes the influence of the Chelsea owner is limited, but believes his influence is limited, which, yeah, of course, it's going to be limited to a degree. I can confirm the Ukrainian side have been trying to find someone in Russian willing to help them find a peaceful resolution, he said. They are connected to Mr. Abramovich through the Jewish community and have reached out to help him. Mr. Abramovich has been trying to mobilize support for a peaceful resolution ever since. Although Mr. Abramovich's influence is limited, he is the only one who has responded and taken it upon himself to try. Wow. That's pretty, profound. He's the only one who's taken it upon himself to try. If this will have an impact or not, I don't know, but I am connected with Zelensky's staff myself and know that they are grateful for his genuine efforts. Wow, so I mean, that's great. So, it's difficult, it's tricky with Roman because, like most billionaires, I would assume, not knowingly that he's not completely clean, but as a Chelsea fan that knows quite a lot about Roman Abramovich and seen the good he's done, but I'm not talking about how he's made my football club an elite European superpower, which as a football fan you would feel grateful for, but the good stuff in that he's done in the pandemic, the anti-discrimination campaigns, the anti-Semitism stuff, loads of charity work, as well as helping the NHS. But clearly he's got some really intelligent advisors around him, and Roman often is criticised for not talking, but when you are in that unique position, the best thing you can do is not talk and, try and make the work that you do speak for you, which he has done often for Chelsea. And if we are to believe these reports, this could be a really positive thing for Roman to do. None of us want this conflict. I'm in a very privileged position to be far from it. And, it's heartbreaking for the globe to see. So if, we can all do our bits by, raising awareness, donating to charities and supports. But if a man of his wealth and influence can go and help broker peace in Ukraine, then superb. And obviously, wonderful PR, you'd have to say, from the MPs looking at him, distancing himself from Chelsea and going to Ukraine to try and broker peace. You'd imagine his daughter, who's spoken out against Putin, would be very happy with that. You'd imagine anyone who's opposed to war would be happy with that. So watch this space. I'll of course continue to report on that story here on Football Therapy, so make sure you've got the bell notifications icon turned on when you subscribe. Let's talk about the football though. You're still hurting after yesterday's cup final loss against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley. Chelsea played very well. I think Chelsea had the better of the chances. I think even Andy Robertson or Van Dijk, one of the Liverpool influential players, said that. And ultimately, we all know what happened. 11-10 on penalties, a goalkeeper missing. And I've just seen no point in criticising the decision to bring Kepa on because it was, I endorsed it prior to that. We all did, including Edouard Mendy. Some absolutely incredible performances. I'm not going to dig out Mason Mount for missing a chance. I'm not going to dig out Christian Pulisic for missing a chance. In fact, I'm going to do the opposite and talk about how actually the front three of Kai Havertz, who was magnificent, you'd argue him, Kovacic, Thiago Silva and Mendy, literally the spine all the way down, were Chelsea's best performers in that cup final. Kai Havertz, and I'm not going to slag off Romelu Lukaku because he actually looked pretty good when he came on, and I think he has got a role to play. Obviously a very different player profile and dynamic, but at the moment, if you chose a front three, you're choosing Kai Havertz. And it's funny because Pulisic and Mason Mount's got a bunch of goals and assists or whatever this season, and he is a good functional style midfielder, but Pulisic's not done much this season. But when you watched sometimes how they can interchange, what we need in the attack, yes, we need goals, assists and goals, But what we need is 3 players that look like they can work together. Now, Mason Mount looked like he can work really, really well with Hakim Ziyech in a back 4 system, and Ziyech looks like our best attacker. So that's in the chamber, that's in the locker. The fact how it's an interchangeable system that we won't always use is frustrating for a 28-year-old Hakim Ziyech in his prime, and in great form, provided he's being played in said position. Mason Mount was playing as one of those inside number 8 next to him, and he was interchanging very well. But that, and then you could say, all right, well then Lukaku up front, and Hudson-Odoi as the left mid probably suits him better. But in terms of a 3-4-2-1, Mason Mount and Christian Pulisic, when they actually have the ball together with Kai Havertz, it looks like Kai Havertz. I mean, we know Kai and Mason have a good relationship anyway. Off and on the pitch, we've actually seen that since Frank Lampard was managing those 2 guys. So I think they can play well together. Pulisic, we know he can be amazing. And to be honest, as like a sort of direct interchanging forward to play in inside spaces, I think he's more appropriate than Hudson-Odoi. I think Hudson-Odoi is a winger than Christian Pulisic. And when I say that, I mean literally doing winger stuff, like playing on the touchline, getting to the byline, and dribbling in, carrying the ball in, and doing really like outside wingery stuff and dribbling. But Christian Pulisic can play a bit more narrow and play more direct, and probably score more goals as well. So I actually really like the idea of continuing a front 3 of Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and Christian Pulisic, if we are to remain in a back 3 system. But I'm also really, really liked the back 4 system. And if we do choose that, of course, first name on the team sheet has to be Hakim Ziyech in that instance. Although I really liked the chemistry between those front 3, and I like the idea of that, I still kind of feel the same in that we've got loads of talented players that aren't all gonna fit in. I feel like I'd love it for us to still have these 7 attackers. Like, we have 7 attackers. I have no problem with having 7 talented attackers. But just when they're so different, you can't keep the continuity in the system. Look at the 5 attackers. Well, there's more, but like the 5 great attackers on the books at Liverpool at the moment, our opposition. The chemistry was so profound between Firmino, Mane, and Salah, and they've brought in Diogo Jota and Luis Diaz, who look perfect to continue that style of attack. They're slotted right in. So we've got, none of our 2 attackers are the same, or at least even similar. So when we've got 7, Kai Havertz couldn't be further from a different kind of striker from Romelu Lukaku. And some people might think, cool, options, 2 different profiles to use. But when you don't have continuity and chemistry and an attacking plan that continually works, it causes problems. Hudson-Odoi is probably our best dribbling style winger. Hakim Ziyech is like a creative, sort of almost Fabregas style winger. Do you know what I mean? It's so different. And then you've got Pulisic, who I've said probably comes in a bit more and is more direct. You've got Mason Mount, who's probably a number 8, really. He's not really an attacker. So everyone's different. Do you know what I mean? So it's mad. But I like that idea of those front 3 being used a little bit more and trying to find some chemistry. And obviously very young. Havertz, Mount, and Pulisic, they're all like 22, 23 or something crazy. Let me know what you think, guys. Comment down below on the things I've spoken about in today's video. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Make sure you keep it locked. Turn the bell noti icon on so you can check out my daily uploads here on Football Therapy. See you soon. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.